But yeah, I guess, Jim, the takeaway is that there are a lot of factors that are, factoring into inflation and price growth. And I guess we all, from the grassroots, from the municipal to the regional to the provincial to the federal level, it definitely needs all these government bodies working hand in hand to try and figure out the solution to control not just housing, but inflation as a whole.
Well, I think that's the issue, right? Is you can't just say, hey, we'll raise interest rates and inflation's going to go away. It's a heck of a lot more complicated than that.
But you have some pundits now who are saying that, hey, this is working. We've raised rates, inflation has come down, so these things are working, raising rates. So what do you say to that? The people that say, well, it did its job because, we went from 6.8% or 7% inflation to now 3.8%. How did we get there? Well, we rose rates.
Sure.
So what do you say to that?
Well, listen, there's a good argument to be made that rates were too low. And I don't think any reasonable person would think that, mortgages under 2% is sustainable long term, okay? So they probably had to go up a little bit. There's no doubt about that. And that will definitely help fight inflation, for sure. However, I think there's way more other factors at play here. First of all, this is a global issue, not just a Canada issue. So inflation, it's all over
definitely
the place,
international,
right? This isn't like something which we can exactly control. There was huge supply chain issues during COVID. Many of those are resolving or are being resolved, like manufacturing back and all that other stuff. So there's a lot going on. It's not just, hey, you can't just point at raising rates and say, hey, that solved the problem. Because first of all, it really didn't. We still have inflation problems. So it hasn't solved it completely. And then the big thing is, have we overcorrected? Have we raised rates too high? Or we're going to start pushing into a recession, which means we're going to have to cut interest rates and go down that rabbit hole, which is a whole different problem.
So one thing I've heard too, and I've been talking to some various people about, and I've used the terminology myself, is I felt, and this was starting probably after we had some jumps of half a point last year and a full point. To sum it up, I would tell people I think we went too far, too fast, and too slow. So we went with, increased rates too much over too short of a period of time. But I think we may have been too slow to react to what was happening with the demand, that maybe instead of March of 2022, if the writing was on the wall, should this have happened in March of 2021?
Correct.
So that's what I mean by too slow. Were we too slow, or the government's too slow, or the Bank of Canada too slow to react to the empirical data that we were getting about demand?
Yeah, I'd say you're bang on there. I'd say you're bang on. I think we're way too late to start addressing this problem. So way too late. And then now we probably, listen, the Bank of Canada doesn't think so, but lots of economists think we've overcorrected, and we'll kind of see what happens. And the problem too is, when you raise interest rates, it could take a long time before you feel the
to filter through,
right? Like
6 months before it filters through the system, sometimes at minimum, and longer. So
well, and you and I know, because obviously we're talking about this through a housing lens. Canadians will do everything they can to stay in their home and to make their mortgage payment. That's just the way Canadians protect that nest egg, right? So you got to think right now, and I'm starting to see it on my files too, where people are digging into their savings. They're slowly draining that so they can maintain their lifestyle, or they're using their credit card, or maybe they're not getting the new car which they're planning, but they'll do everything in their power to kind of hang on to their house, but it's probably hitting them in all sorts of other different ways.